Namaste. I am Meenakshi. I welcome you to this session of sharing your visions. This is the first in the series. We are going to start with sharing a vision of a new humanity. Next month in September, we will share our visions for a new world. We all are aware that human beings keep changing. They keep transforming. Even our body keeps changing, growing, first younger, then older, in different ways. Every day there is a change. Our environment keeps changing. Sometimes we know what is going to happen, and sometimes we don't. But as we become more and more aware, we become aware that we are co-creating these changes. They are not happening to us, they are happening with us. And who is this us? Who is this we? Who is this I that is creating these changes? That is what the Native Americans call the Great Mystery. And that is also something that our human mind, our human body, and our human life helps us to become conscious of. This is the greatest blessing that we have as human beings, that we can wake, we can be enlightened, we can become aware that we are co-creating this world. We are co-creating ourselves. And we are, even more importantly, co-creating the ways in which we connect with one another. So let us see what our panel is going to share today. I invite you to become a part of these sessions, because as we come together in a mindful focus, as we synchronize our consciousness, the miraculous changes will amaze even us. Thank you so much. And let's begin. What I would like all of us to do is just to connect first with the very most intimate part of ourself, and that is our breath. And if we could just, even with our eyes open or closed, as you feel comfortable, begin to get your breath as the focus of your being. Focus on where you are, where your body is, and make yourself a very comfortable place for the breath to flow in and out. With every breath in, go deeper and deeper into your essence. With every breath out, go more and more out into the universe. Go deep into your physical body and all your astral planes and expand. As you go deep in, see the roots coming from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet, from this miraculous human body that connects us to the universe. And as you breathe out, feel yourself expanding with your branches, leaves and fruits out into the furthest reaches of our universe. With the next breath, breathe together from your branches and your roots, and take 3 breaths like that. In at the same time and out through the heart. In from your crown and your soles, and out from the heart. In from the crown and your roots, and out from the heart. And now you are a tree of the beautiful cosmic breath. You are the cosmic breath breathing through you. and look within yourself to your left and your right and feel connected to this circle of beautiful light beings, of the trees that we are, of the people who are here physically with us, and those who will hear this and listen to this later. We are all connected. We are all one. Take one or two breaths and begin to come back into this time and space, into this beautiful, with great gratitude to the beautiful internet and Wi-Fi systems that we have, so that we are able to connect from all the way up in the Himalayas to all the way down south in Florida. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. I'm going to ask each of us now to, we may have come already with a thought that we have about co-creating a new humanity. So we'll start first with co-creating. What are you co-creating in the world now? And if each of us can take 1 minute to say that while I start the live stream process. Can you all go in order, see your name and go in alphabetical order maybe? So we'll start with Allison.
Okay. For the last 7 years, my dream has been to build a place that could be a refuge for people where they can reconnect with nature. I want to plant a healing and meditation garden that contains all medicinal plants, natural Ayurvedic medicine, plants from around the world that can bring healing. Not necessarily do you have to ingest these plants, but just sitting in the presence of the plants. At the same time, I want to create a safe place where people can go through a detox process away from social media, away from cities, away from things that have created a lot of distractions for us, so that we can get on to a program of better co-creating. We have to remove some of the distractions and reconnect with the nature, I think, for that to be able to be possible. And a lot of people have been injured in their spirit because they've broken that connection.
So my mission in life is to create a space for happiness. And in the last few years, I realized that before we get to happiness, we have to start with love. So it's connecting with love and bringing more humanity to the workplaces and also to people's life. So that's what I'm co-creating.
I am at a point in my life where I think the most important thing is for people to listen to each other and also to collaborate with each other. So I've tried to pull together over the last year some greater understanding of why there are challenges to collaborating, even among people who say they really want to do so. And so I feel like there is an antidote to it, not just listening, but there is the love, the radiation of spiritual presence, but there's also techniques involved in helping organizations and groups work together and be more innovative. And so that's my leading edge right now.
Karen, you're next.
That was fast from A to K. Well, I'm in the process of retiring. My life's work has been with couples and creating a safe environment for children and for people to have a happy life together. I am now working more on myself, but I'm also involved in native plants, advocating for native plants, advocating for people to take care of the earth, doing a geology video for our group by interviewing a geologist in order to help us understand how to appreciate our planet and our world, and doing the best that I can to conserve and to grow myself so that I am more of a conduit for love and peace instead of anger and hate. That's my piece. Doing the best I can.
I'm so grateful to get to go after Adam and Karen, because I could almost just say rubber stamp most of what they said. Everything Adam said about his journey trying to get people to collaborate and share. I also am involved with sociocracy. I also am involved with native plants. And I guess my specific edge that I can bring is I find that money so often can get in the way, or just people not knowing how to share. And so I've been particularly drawn to methodologies that allow us to blur the edges between money and not money. So usually that manifests through something called time banking. That's something I've been drawn to look into and to create here in my community. And then the other broader umbrella of things that I work on is what I'm going to call social climate. I actually do work on climate change, but I'm not somebody who's out holding posters and doing things in the traditional way. I'm kind of trying to heal communities and get them to work together, and also do it in somewhat a playful way. So just last weekend, I got certified on bringing a game called Transforming Our World, and it teaches people how to embody the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals through game. So that's me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're next, Rose. Yeah.
Yes. I actually am retired, so I can continue to develop and assist my clients. And that is basically with social, economic, get them so that they let go of the fear, the stress, and that seems to be working quite well now since last year, and we've opened up now, so I can do more in person, which Zoom is great, but certain limitations if you can't do face to face. So that's what I'm doing, and it seems to be helping.
Tatiana.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So the way I want to co-create is helping other people to break out the cycle of healing and to overcome that state of victimhood and trauma. I've seen that in many people, and I was able myself to touch that deep self-love inside and love for others. And I think we need that so much. People that are stuck in healing the past, we need co-create for that people to heal and to bring their inner power and their wisdom to this world and take care of what for me is so important, which is nature and animals. As a little child, always picking up animals from the streets. And these last couple of weeks is a time that I've been reevaluating my values again. And I want to help and support people for that, so they can come out into the world and take care of the little ones that are on the streets in many countries, like my country, Ecuador. You see dogs everywhere. We lost this sense of helping each other and helping the more innocent, which are the animals. So that's my vision for this world. Thank you.
Vivian.
I'm here to create. Did you call on me? Because I
Oh, yeah,
can't
sorry,
hear.
Kavita. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm here to create divine grace and divine beauty, which is divine love with divine wisdom, and help awaken everyone to the core of what they carry, which is source, and connect back to that source and come from the source wherever or whenever they're working, through meditation, through relationship consulting, through the book I've written, which I'm planning on re-editing. To be each moment consciously aware that we are light beings, and as we connect with our light, to recognize and heal and create a right relationship with ourselves first. And with that love and that light, it just goes out to help transform everyone else, which is what I think we're all doing here. But to help people, it's difficult sometimes to stay in that space of the soul source connection with pure love. And as we raise our frequency, I'm really here to help people raise their frequency. So all the time they're moving in that space. Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. I'm echoing. Anyway, you all have very beautiful intentions, and so thank you for sharing that. I not actually put a name to what I am trying to co-create, because it cannot be defined in physical terms. It doesn't involve a physical activity per se. It is really just as a frequency holder. I feel that my purpose here is to bring in energy from the higher realms to infuse this planetary consciousness with an energy that will help to unify, to transform, to heal. So really it's just creating a space for that to happen without any specific objectives. But I'm open to the possibility that I might become involved or immersed in one or more co-creative projects. It's just that for now, this is what I feel my primary purpose is to just hold the space or hold the frequency and create the space. And everything I hear in every single session that I participate in are people expressing just some wonderful intentions and desires for bringing about that unification and transformation of this world. And I really relate to what Adam is saying. You know, the challenge we're having, one of the largest challenges we're having, is to come together and see ourselves as not just individualized fragments of consciousness, but that we're actually a planetary collective consciousness, and even beyond that. But let's start with planetary collective consciousness. If we are to explore all of the infinite number of collectives out there in this vast universe, we really need to focus on ourselves coming together as a planetary consciousness. So I don't, right now anyway, I'm not focusing on how we go about doing that, but just for creating that space. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, Roshana, I'm just honoring your wish, I think, because you're not on video, so I've not called on you. But anytime, if you would like to share, please do. Um, I also want to share as part of the circle. Um, what I'm co creating is a place, my voice is going, is a place where gems like you can share what they're doing, what they're thinking, and how they are bringing in, as Vivian said, the frequency of light, as many of you are showing in so many different ways. I see all of us working on the different chakras, the different auras of the planet, of humanity, of Gaia, and I'm greedy to listen to everyone. I want to hear everyone. I want everyone to hear all of you. So that's what I hope I'm co-creating, a space where we can all share, because I feel it's so important for us to be aware that we are co-creating, and not just for us, but for everyone who may be listening to us, especially, as Tatiana said, the people who may feel that they're victims, because they really aren't any. One of the things that I learned from Tavita, who's here, and who made this very amazing course called The Nine Responsibilities, is that what is our first reaction to when you hear something wonderful and when you hear something that other people are suffering? What is my first reaction? And that makes all the difference to what my action will be. So, our next question, which I'm going to ask, and I think we'll stay with the same way of alphabetical, it's just easier if it's okay with everyone. Is it okay with everyone? Okay. Is if we think of humanity 10 years from now, where do you think human beings are? So, if you want, you could say how you think we are now, and then how you think we will have changed in 10 years. And the reason I'm asking is very personal, so I seem to be going out of turn at first, is because when I used to see Star Trek as a child and read these books about the future, which I loved, one thing never satisfied me, and that was that human beings were the same. They were still fighting, they were still angry, they were still being what I thought that in this lifetime I'm moving away from, which is fear and greed and jealousy and wanting things which are not mine. So I said, if this is how I'm right now, how can it be that in the future I will not have changed? You know? So for me, this is a very personal question, and I would love your take, each of you, to give your take on how you think the future of humanity will be. Maybe just in terms of the emotions and their actions. I think that's a big one. So can we start with Alison? Alison, I had muted your mic,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry, I was probably breathing a lot. The air is really thin in the Himalayas. You know, I want to thank you as well for co-creating this space, because sometimes I feel like I'm so far away from everything that's normal to me. I've been living 4 years, I was in South America, and now the last 2 years in India. So it's been a long time since I've been on North American soil. And I'm observing from the outside. And it's really a unique perspective, because sometimes when you're too close to something, you don't always see it. Right now, what I see in Western culture is a great deal of confusion, fear, and anger. But I also see a lot of people who are beginning to utilize their critical thinking skills again. And people are starting to shake their heads a bit and say, whoa, some crazy things are going on in the world, and we need to get a handle on this. Despite the bickering and the arguing and the social media wars, I really feel very inspired by what I'm seeing as an emergence of more compassion and understanding, and people really genuinely searching for solutions. I know that the world is in a huge flux of change. That I don't think anybody would disagree with what's gone on in the last couple of years. And but I have a real hope that people are going to start taking more responsibility for their own actions, but also for how can we start healing our planet, healing our systems that are broken. And I mean, I guess I'm just really hopeful. And I don't think that it's a pipe dream either. I really think that people are starting to wake up a little bit. And I don't like to use that expression because it's been so muddied with the media lately. But I really do believe that people are starting to become more aware of our intentions have an impact. And collectively, our intentions have an impact. So I think that we're going to be doing a lot better.
So I see a great opportunity in my day-to-day with companies and with people. I see that there is a huge need for a change. People are desperate for help, but they just don't know the way out. So if those we have that have the opportunity to see the other side, we just need to remind ourselves, how can we connect to their pain and bring them to the other side and not see them? Because sometimes I tend to see them like, they don't get it, they don't see it. I get frustrated. And it's just they don't know. And they are in this day-to-day and in this fast race, and they don't know to even how to stop and think about it because they are in survival mode. And sometimes I get in survival mode. I'm not an exception. Sometimes I could be in that situation. And I also see a craving for a community. I hear people buying lands and getting together and taking care of nature. I have that cause the same way. And so I'm hopeful that more and more we're gonna move towards community-based. In countries like Spain, a lot of young people are moving out of the cities already, and they're buying land and creating these communities. So yeah, there are gonna be people who are gonna still be in big companies, but I see a shift even in the system that we have created. So I'm hopeful that we're gonna get back to the roots and create community and help each other and work on inside more than the outside. So that's what I see in the future.
Beautiful. I have a friend from Sweden, Robert Palmerson, who has a practice of time traveling, which I want to mention because you're kind of invoking this, Meenakshi, of going to, the future, but it's a future of a golden age, because that's certainly what we intend, is to reach the golden age. And 10 years, I don't know, will it be there? We don't know. But what I see happening is a couple of things when I go to the future and back. And one is that something that I would just call tribal healing. Small groups of people that can work through their shadow states together, radiate love with each other, and then kind of move that out into larger, linked, decentralized circles. I have a hard time seeing this working in our current paradigms of communication, of hierarchy. The other thing that I really long for and believe will someday occur is for us to get back to the love affair with Gaia. It is it. That's, to me, the secret. If we have to start unburdening her of concrete, and there's so much that has to be done to make life flourish again. And but we can start doing that. It's not that hard. So I'm kind of sanguine about it.
Yeah, I follow on with what the two of you are saying. We're at a particularly interesting place. Human beings, my understanding, tend not to do anything until there's some catastrophe that pushes them to do something and wake up. It gets them to the place where they are recognizing something and they almost have to do it, and then they go, oh my gosh, and they come to a new state of awareness. And I think that we're being pushed in that direction. At the same time, we have a lot more people who are spiritual based, have been working on things like myself for many, many years. And now the time is coming where that connection to source is much more available and much easier, is a much easier flow. With our little meditation, Meenakshi is always so amazing. I came to a place of, oh, wow, yeah, I could buy into feeling that good all the time. And it's like, duh, but it was a place of recognizing, because there is so much trauma, and I think that I'm learning that we're here to deal with trauma, and that's part of why we came to this earth, but that's part of us getting beyond it. And I think that the future holds some real beauty. We have, my brother is at the side of, it's done, this is how it is. And yet I see a lot of forces like what you guys are talking about that is aware and are evolving and are making a future of working together, communities in nature, and taking care of Mother Earth. And so I'm kind of at a place if we can go either way, but my energy wants to go in the direction of that this place is meant to be a Garden of Eden. That's just it. And we can make that happen. And we just need to keep getting to that place of, oh, wow, I could feel this good. Thank you.
Oh, once again, I'm happy to come after Karen. I also loved Meenakshi's beautiful meditation, and just am remembering how inspired I've been by trees. And in January of 2016, I was hugging one of my favorite trees when I got a download from it, and it asked me, not talking out loud, but kind of through a connection, if I would partner with it to bring bear medicine from the forest out into the world. And I had no idea what bear medicine was at that time. I actually had to come home and Google it. And I went on Facebook to Sisterhood of the Talking Trees to see if anybody had ideas. And they said, usually instead of healing a person, bear medicine is about healing community. So I meditated on that, and I thought, how do you heal community? And it's through some of the things that you all have been talking about. It's that feeling of enoughness. It's that interconnectedness. It's being able to use your gifts. And so that's what brought me to time banking. And it also brought me to study permaculture. And so for really the last 5+ years, I've been trying to tie those strands together. You know, how do they connect? It's led me to meet all kinds of interesting people who I feel like have given me great clues on what it looks like in 10 years, back to the original question. I visited the Venus Project down in Florida. That's very futuristic, very Star Trek. If anybody's ever down there, it could be pretty cool to see. But yeah, based on my initial round response, I feel like for me, part of my specific tool to get us to that different future in 10 years is around money. It's the redistribution of wealth in all forms of currencies. And so I want myself and others to become currency fluid, to recognize that there are other currencies. It's not just fiat currency, it's spiritual capital, it's experiential capital, it's time capital, so many different types of capital that when we use them and when our gifts are acknowledged, it feels like enough. We can be creative to move them around. And then oddly, in the last year, it's brought me to cryptocurrency, specifically Cardano. If you have, and if this resonates with you, to check it out. They are doing this in a very environmentally friendly way. I do not work for them. They're using just a fraction of energy that something like Bitcoin is used, and they have a social mission. They're actually concentrating on banking the unbanked in Africa and giving people identity. So if you are forced from your country as a refugee, you have a way to prove that you have a title to your land or a university degree. There's just so many different things that are going on behind them versus just people making money online. And so I just see that people are going to be free to earn and learn in very many different ways. And just like water, it finds its level. And I feel like for some reason, the metaphor of money and its redistribution is pointing me to a more beautiful and sustainable future. And if I can be so bold, I have seen the future, because when I play that UN Sustainable Development Goals game, we look at the year 2030 and we look at the world condition meter to see how we did. And usually at halftime, we're not doing so good. But when we put our heads together and we re-strategize on how to make that world condition meter work, we usually work it out. So I feel like we can do it, but time is of the essence. Thanks.
I think it's me. I'm going to simplify. I am a total optimist, and I believe we can pull things together, hopefully in time. And I'm simply going to ditto Allison. Thank you.
I think it's me now. Right. Thank you, everyone. So the way I see right now humanity and the way I perceive it in the future right now, as I said before, I think a lot of people are in the process of healing, and a lot of them stuck in the what I call the healing wheel. Like it never ends. Like it's always in the pattern of being the victim. When you become the victim, you become I want revenge, I'm angry, I have resentment. And I think humanity and people who are in that place, they're gonna come to the point where the pain is too much, that they're gonna say there has to be something else. And that's the moment I feel is gonna come in the near future, where our bodies, our cells, our DNA is transforming into a different human being. And we're gonna be like more connecting to our higher self, to consciousness. And what it comes to me too is with the cryptocurrency that somebody shared here, which is it's starting a new economy. I think one of the things that people are going through too is like about money and cryptocurrency. Although a lot of people talk bad about it, I have been learning a lot, and it used less energy than like Bitcoin, of course, and even making money. So I think people are gonna come to the stream of feeling pain and sorrow and past trauma, to transforming entirely the way we see our body, the way we connect with consciousness. And we're gonna see that our reality is truly abundance, and abundance is everywhere, and it comes in different forms. So that's the way I see the future of this planet. Thank you.
I guess I may be next. I see the planet eventually becoming what I had anticipated as like Meenakshi coming down, kind of a Shangri-La where everybody is open, learning, sharing, loving, and caring. I will again throw out the auravana.com for any of you. I put it in the chat, which is a huge step. The Venus Project is the idea with some buildings. the Auravana.com has done it in 6 books and in a site. And so go see it and connect with that. And it is a different way. It's a breaking off of ourselves in a different way. But I see as light at the moment, as we take our light and we just focus on the light and we help others to see that the trauma is not trauma. It's insights. We're here to say, I just sliced my face open. What was I thinking? What was I doing? What was I saying? Taking responsibility. Why am I in this situation and how can I move out of it? And what insight do I have? It's difficult for children because children come in and they have parents. And I think a lot of parents are under stress. So I would like to say that I see us as light beings, our thoughts going out constantly to everyone around as seeds of light, seeing the light going down into people's minds to open them up to the love, to the joy, to getting help, to feeling more open, going to community. And I think it's very important that people like Adam and Kathy and myself and others that are very much operational, instructional, and structural to get out there and help with the corporations and the in any other way we can for critical thinking, for moving into unity, conscious awareness, honoring each individual, but seeing more light. And with more light, the dark will just disappear. I also see that technology is not our enemy. Technology, as I have a computer science background, but we have to use it wisely. And since they haven't put laws in place, I would like to say that I would like to see laws in place. This was many years ago, and we still haven't got them, as you can see from where we are now. So I would like to see laws coming into place that allow us the technology, but used in a way to support mankind in our own personal growth and evolving with our own DNA and our own divine conscious mind, expanding into who we truly are, which is divine beings on earth. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. That was beautiful. I do have a vision, Meenakshi, of a future. But, you know, trying to fit it into a measure of a linear time progression is it's kind of challenging. And I think that's one of our challenges today, is that we try to imagine how the world is going to be at some point in the future, whether it's 10 years or whatever. But it's always done in the context of how physical form can be shaped or transformed or changed to achieve another physical form or activity to simply replace it, where we use our thoughts and our powers to create some kind of physical activity or form that supersedes what we've how we've done it in the past. And I think we're being challenged, especially those of you who maybe are still pondering what your passion is, or what creative projects you want to undertake. Maybe one of the contributions that we can make is to imagine something just so entirely out of the context of the way the world appears to operate in this range of frequencies. Understand that as we evolve, we are moving into a higher range of frequencies where the kind of density that appears at this level is not only going to stay, but it's going to look entirely different. And that's a challenge to the imagination. What does that look like exactly? And so it's not something that I have an answer to, but I have thought about this. And a perfect example is that all of us, in one way or another, identify with the human form that we occupy right now that allows us to express in this world. It's like, so I imagine that sometime in the future, we are going to totally detach and disidentify with this form that we're occupying. And furthermore, we're going to disidentify all of the actions and behaviors and thoughts and beliefs and emotions and whatever energy occupies another, maybe individualized consciousness. I'm not saying that all form will disappear. The form will take on an entirely different texture, and I was blessed, I will say that this just did not come out, in some, creative, imagination session. I was blessed with actually having a dream, many dreams of what this would look like. And so if you can imagine that still there would be some kind of form, a world of form, because consciousness needs objects of consciousness, targets of consciousness. How can consciousness be aware of itself if there isn't something that kind of gives it a message or a signpost that says, this is what you are, or this is what you aren't? But that's why I think there will probably be the existence of some kind of form, but maybe not as dense as in this range of frequencies that we find ourselves in. Maybe it'll be a little more fluid, a little more. And in that higher range of frequencies, we'll have the ability to do things that, are necessity now, but probably not then. For example, the dependence of money as a primary means of exchange. I think we will reach a point where money is unnecessary, if irrelevant, that we will have within ourselves the power to create whatever it is we want or need at a particular point in our development, in our process. Now, whether all of this, and there are all of ways that we can imagine things would change, but the whole point of this is to encourage everyone, including myself. I'm not, for some reason, holier than thou. I wouldn't be here right now if I wasn't being also given an opportunity to try to imagine what this would look like. But I would like to encourage everyone to imagine a world that exists beyond our current context, our frame of reference. And imagine what is possible when vibrational frequencies go beyond where we are right now. That there is the capacity to do so much more. So then the question is, what would that be? And what would that look like? So 10 years from now, I'm an optimist too. I think we're going to continue to see all of the what we might characterize as ugliness of the world. But keep in mind that the ugliness is there not for us to get mad at the ugliness, but to raise our consciousness and to make our choices about what that means to us. So that ugliness exists for enlightenment for those who choose. And in many ways, we need to be grateful for those who are demonstrating the ugliness because they're doing us a favor. They're helping us. And eventually they'll come along. And the nice thing about it is that as we raise our vibration, we're going to lift them too. So it's not like we're sitting here going, hey, we're evolving. And you guys can sink to the depths of nothingness if you want to. It doesn't work. We are our collective consciousness. Where we go, everybody goes. And that's my view on things. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has been so amazing, and my heart is just singing because this is what I had wanted when I first started Co-Creator Circle. And now I'm going to answer my own question based on what you all have said. I was sitting one day with my husband. He was actually sitting and I was sort of standing. And we were not having a very happy time because I felt we were out of sync with one another. And I told him, you know, I can see you and me right now. Suddenly I had this huge vision. Right now, there were parallel universes. I just read about them, but I experienced it in that 1 second of being distressed, you see, so called negative emotion. In that state of distress, when I was not meditating or doing anything very spiritual, I had this beautiful vision, and I said I could feel myself speaking from somewhere far away because I heard myself rather than I felt myself speaking. And I said, I can see you and me will always be together through millions of, I can see, so right now I'm aware of 200, but I can see many more relationships. But I know where I'm going to choose. I'm choosing right now to be in a certain frequency. And it's your choice which frequency you want to connect with me at. Because I can be everywhere. And when I saw that, it's impossible for me now to have a first reaction of how horrible this world is. I just can't see that anymore. Because at the same time that I see the horribleness, I see the beauty and the wonder, and I'm an optimist only because I see the wonder right now. One of my students told me, Meenakshi, when I first saw you, you told me you can see my light, because I always tell people if you want to learn something from me, I can only teach you if I already see your light. If I can't see it, then I'm not the right guide for you. It's not you are not right for me. I'm not ready yet for you. I haven't been able to see your light. She said, and I thought to myself, am I a light bulb that you can see my light? And she said, now I understand what you meant. And this I really thank Tavita for, because she met me. I met her at the darkest time of my life, and she helped me to reconnect with what I was, with everything that we did together, Tavita. So really, I'm so grateful to you. And Tavita guides meditations on Co-Creator Circle every Sunday. Not tomorrow, for tomorrow is one of the rare Sundays when we won't have the circle, but they really connect us to that soul self, that's that source. They're just amazing and wonderful, and I encourage all of you to please to come. Not only that, I would also like each of you, if you haven't already, to please place in the chat anything that you feel is helping us to become aware of this new humanity. And Vivian, you've already spoken of a new world, but we're going to do that again in September. So, please do come for that also. It turns out to be a September 11th, but I think that's probably the way it was meant to be. Also, if you could put your if you would like to teach something or share something or have a on co-creator circle, that will be so wonderful. I invite all of you because you're all just so amazing. So please do consider teaching, sharing, or whatever you would like to present on co-creator circle. And you can write to me separately later or write it right now as you like. And you know that we can all save the chat, right? Yeah. So that's fantastic. And I really like what I shared, Ecosia, because so many of us are connected to trees in one way or the other. It's a search engine, and they're very good. You always find what you're looking for, which is not always the case with the other search engines, which came as an alternative to Google. But Ecosia also plants trees, and they tell you how many trees they are planting, and they're also helping us to stay what we consider private, which frankly I have another thought about, but that's another thought. What's privacy? Because that's another, as you said, Vivian, about different bodies. I had another vision once of bodies just being like a space, like a house. We go into a house, we know the house is not us, and then we leave it. And when we leave it very clean so the next person, energetically and at all levels, so that the next person who comes can adopt it. I had the same feeling about bodies. Many of us feel we are walk-ins, or we once we even did an exercise where we went into one another's consciousness, and we can do that in another way right now at the end of the session. And I felt that this may be the future, that a person can choose to be. We don't have to travel to another place. We may just take the place of someone, and that's not really the future. That's probably even now. So that's something to think about, you know. We actually are not always in our body. We aren't even now in our body. Sometimes people tell me, Meenakshi, you come so many times in my dream. Why are you coming in my dream? I didn't even know I'm coming in your dream. I was somewhere else, you know. So I would love a round of just anything that anyone wants to share. Everyone can unmute themselves, even if we are talking together. I feel that's good. It's like a normal social gathering. And at the end, we'll do a sync exercise, which some of you know I like to do, the gratitude lotus.
One of
Karen
the
has to
things
go.
I wanted to share was listening to Vivian. What comes up for me is, are we going to be doing another Atlantis? Are we, was Atlantis around and then went away, and we've come back to do a healing, and now we're evolving into a more sustainable city of Atlantis, world of Atlantis? This almost sounds like what you were talking about.
I think we're trying not to repeat Atlantis, Mu, Lemuria, etc. I think this is a time, from everything I've been looking at, that we are raising our vibrations to a place where we can sustain it and become like Auravana. There's no money in auravana.com.org. It's a different type of society. And maintaining the human form, but in a higher vibration, you're lighter, and you are going to be attaining all the original, a lot of the original abilities you had: mind reading, telekinesis, bringing things to you, materialization, and so on. But in a world that is on the planet that is using technology for the benefit. Not on the planet, you don't need the technology for the other places. And I also feel that I'm just getting that we will be more open and unified with the aliens, and stronger in terms of being able to take the technologies, integrate the technologies, be stronger to maintain the EMFs that are coming on to us, things like this. So I think it's all good because we're
Awesome.
moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I hope it's okay that I'm talking in the dark, but I have
Mhm.
lost power. Can you still hear me?
Wow. Okay.
So
Yes.
I want to expand on, oh, there we go. Let there be light. I was really touched by something that Vivian said, because when I was in South America, I spent some time in the Amazon jungle and participated in ayahuasca ceremonies. And in those ceremonies, I received many visions. And this was when I got a huge sense of the connectiveness and the importance of connectiveness. And this has been, I guess, the last 6 or 7 years has been my main mission, to help people to understand that we are all one. And exactly what Tavita said is that there's so much more that we have no idea, because I've seen glimpses of these things that I didn't even understand what I was seeing, but I had telekinetic powers. I was able to communicate with people in the room that we didn't even speak the same language, but I still understood what they were trying to communicate to me. So I think that, and this, again, I'm very hopeful, because I think that we are tapping into a new consciousness, and that people are becoming more aware of what's going on in the world. And through exercises like what we're doing right now and sharing this information, we're all becoming stronger, and we're all becoming more equipped for what this future is that we're going to be facing. So thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed being here today. It's always a gamble.
I want to say something. I love what Vivian shared. Like the first time she shared, I love the way you explain it, because it's something that I feel too. Like going from a very lower vibration of trauma into not even transforming our body completely, a body that doesn't get traumatized is going to be in the future. I feel like we're going to be bored about talking trauma, what passed in our childhood and all those things. We're going to be connecting to so many dimensions, having abundance, just recognizing everything that we really are. So that's the way I feel. I can feel that. And what I've been using with my, like a couple years ago, I was afraid to talk about this with my clients that were going through trauma. I was trying to be connected with them and trying to bring them out of the trauma drama. But it took me a long time. And what lately I've been using is a little bit of tough love. It was so much needed, and it works so good. Like, just snap out of it. It's so much more than that. So much more than happened in the past. Look at where you are now, what's coming right now. Look at all the magic that we are inside. And that was more of the more challenging things for me, is to use that tough love. I was always very loving and kind, and I was like, okay, how can I use love in a tough way where I can snap out of people of that unconsciousness? And that's it. Thank you.
I like this moment of silence. Anyone else has anything to share?
Just
One of
really
the,
grateful,
yes.
just really grateful for the space and for the beautiful connecting. It's just so wonderful to hear people who have already heard of your ideas and know that next edge. So
Yeah.
I'm just really deeply appreciating all that I've learned today and people I've met. Thanks.
Yeah, please do connect with one another, because there may be many different things we can do with one another, even outside of Co-Creator Circle. This is just one platform. Not only that, in one of the meditations recently, and so that's what I'd like us to go into, like you said, gratitude. So we'll make a gratitude lotus in front of our heart. I think some of you may know how to do it. Just, we just think of, we just be in a state of unconditional gratitude. We don't even have to think what we are grateful for. And then we open up our hands. If we can do it in sync with one another, just sensing one another either with eyes open or closed, that really brings out that beauty into the world. And when we are here, pause for a while and receive, because one of the things which we sometimes forget to do is to receive visions, receive gratitude, receive blessing and love. And when we're completely feeling full, we'll just spread it to the world. Normally I say all the way out, but today let's just spread it in this way. And when we're doing it, we won't be talking, we'll be in silence. But one vision that I'd like to share as we go into this exercise is that the humanity of the future, as we have all talked about, and the future may be right now because there's no linear time in space, is going so much beyond what we consider Mother Earth. Because Mother Earth is one of the places that we have occupied. But Gaia consciousness is helping us to go out into the universe. We are here on Mother Earth, which is like a nursery for many, many, many life forms. And we are going to go as humanity, we are going to be ripping the shreds of space and going out into completely another dimension. Just a thought as we go into our gratitude. Gratefully connecting to receive, absorb, and radiate the beautiful blessing of this session. Thank you. A word from each of us before we leave.
Thank you, Meenakshi, for the space.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us all, especially for letting me come.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Delicious, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is just, you all are so incredibly beautiful. And I would love to reconnect with you all in the same way
Yeah,
sometime.
September 11th. I'll
Okay.
send everyone a connection link. And
Sounds good.
everyone, please do save the chat. But anyway, I can send it to you on also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be the last to leave. I don't close the meeting. So everyone
We
can,
love you all. I'm so
Love you
excited
all.
to meet you
yeah, amazing
and to
people, all of
connect
you.
with you further.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're already seeing a new humanity when I see all of us so beautiful and peaceful and meeting in such a fantastic connection, and wow. Yeah.
Thank you, Meenakshi.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Yeah, you really are in a beautiful place, Vivian. Andreina wanted to know where you are. I don't know if you wrote it there.
It said
This
Ann Arbor, no?
Anna.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry. It's a,
So beautiful.
it's, thank you. It's a fake background. I,
Oh,
to be honest with you.
Oh,
But I do live in Ann Arbor.
but
So I
it's
want,
such a good
so I
fake
wanted a
background.
tree. I
yeah,
wanted a tree theme. So,
it looks
uh,
real. That's
Yeah,
why
and
yeah,
your
I
head doesn't
find
go
it.
out and in. How
yeah.
Yeah.
come?
Because I got rid of my high back chair and I'm sitting in this little fold up chair so that I wouldn't, I'm like missing part of my hair part of the time,
Oh, okay.
which
We
is,
didn't
that's how
realize.
you can tell fake backgrounds, just
Yeah,
so you
that's true,
guys
but
know.
it never looked like that for you. Wow.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
yeah. So yeah, I just wanted the tree theme,
Yeah,
I love trees too.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I've actually got trees that look just like this in my backyard, but
yeah.
uh,
You
anyway, but
certainly provided the space for us. Thank you for
Yes.
that.
thank you all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Until next
Bye.
time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
So happy, Alison. You brought the Himalaya fresh breeze here. Yeah.
Minachi, what is
Yes.
that? How do you touch your hands? Touch your fingers?
Mudra. Mudra.
Mudra.
Yeah.
Like that?
Mudra. Sorry.
Is it like that?
It can be. You can touch different places, and depending on your consciousness at the time, it can mean many things. Like if we see our fingers as mind, body, life, and soul, then I can touch this and feel I'm connecting to the soul,
Oh,
connecting to the mind, connecting to the body, connecting to life, which has
oh,
everything in it. It's up to us. If that's my consciousness, then that's where I am. If my consciousness is that all my fingers are my whole body, then I can touch this and feel that I'm right now touching my wrist,
oh,
and I'm now touching my shoulder, and I'm now touching my hip. So it depends on what my consciousness is at that time.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks all for being here.